There are places that feel born from a breath of the sky itself, and Wengen is one of them. Even before the village fully appears, it reveals itself in fragments: a sliver of wooden rooftop, a balcony suspended over green abysses, the distant chime of a bell blending with the wind. The mist rises like a living sheet, dissolving haste, erasing anything that sounds like noise. The world here seems to breathe more slowly. The mountains, colossal and silent, rise like ancient guardians. Light strikes the stone walls, returning golden reflections that race down the slopes. There's a freshness in the air that feels freshly gathered from eternal snow. And the silence, an almost mythical silence, is not emptiness, but full of gentle murmurs. The crack of wood warming under the sun, the brushing of clouds along the ridges, and the echo of footsteps that arrive and vanish. Wengen emerges this way, like a dream weathered by time, yet untouched in its essence. A village where the horizon opens doors, and the ground feels too light to be just earth. Here, everything invites contemplation, and the journey begins before you even step onto the main street.
Arriving in Wengen is accepting a rite of passage. No engines roaring, no roads snaking up the mountains, only the train, that iron creature that climbs as if slowly learning to fly. The journey begins in the valley, with the damp scent of grass and stone, and at every bend, the world narrows, as though the landscape itself were guiding the traveler to leave behind the weight of daily life. The train pushes on, rising in a steady rhythm, until the houses in the valley shrink to the size of memories. The tracks turn into a thread stitching its way upward, and when the altitude starts to press against your chest, you realize the destination is not just a place, but a state of stillness. The windows reveal green abysses, waterfalls thin as silver threads, and cliffs where goats graze with the calm of those who know all the mountain secrets. And then, without fanfare, Wengen appears, suspended, serene, observing everything from above. The platform is simple, yet it holds a rare sensation that when you step off the train, you're not just setting foot in a village, but in a different way of being. Here, where cars do not enter, silence wins by right, and life begins again in a more human rhythm.
High in the Alps, where the air feels newly born, daily life in Wengen unfolds in small, almost ceremonial gestures. Mornings begin early, with residents opening wooden windows that creak softly, as if greeting the day. The smell of fresh bread drifts through the narrow streets, mingling with the aroma of milk arriving from nearby farms, transported not by trucks, but by small cargo gondolas. Walking is the central verb of life here. Children go to school on foot, crossing flowered gardens and gentle slopes, while elders stroll unhurriedly, talking about the weather, the summer harvest, or the forecast for snow. Relationships are woven at a human pace, eye to eye, gesture to gesture. There are no horns, no rush, only the natural rhythm of a village that has learned to live in sync with the mountain. The markets are small, almost intimate, where every face is familiar. There, tourists and locals mingle, exchanging impressions about the weather or the beauty of a landscape that renews itself each hour. In the late afternoon, when the sun slips behind the ridges, the lengthening shadows turn Wengen into a living painting, and the routine gains the calm of a day that knows its own worth. Wengen seems to have been sculpted with the delicacy of someone who respects every tilt of the mountain. The houses, almost all darkened wood weathered by time, carry balconies that extend like open arms toward the valley. In summer, these balconies burst into color, red geraniums, petals that dance at the slightest breath of wind, contrasting with the deep green of the slopes. In winter, snow settles on the rooftops like a white silence, turning the village into a painting of absolute calm.
The landscape is not just scenery, it is presence. From any point, 3 stone giants watch over the village: Eiger, Monk, and Jungfrau. Their faces, sometimes lit by a soft gold, sometimes swallowed by bluish shadows, change expression throughout the day, as if conversing quietly with whoever observes them. This closeness to natural colossi shapes Wengen's gaze and spirit. The streets, narrow and winding, follow the terrain without trying to dominate it. Everything here seems to exist in harmony with the land. Chalets aligned to the light, walkways hidden among trees, gardens growing sheltered from the wind. And when the sun sets behind the mountains, the final light rests over the village like a whisper, reminding us that here, architecture and nature do not compete, they embrace.
In Wengen, traditions aren't old memories, they're a living pulse. In the late afternoons, when the sun declines and the mountain breathes colder, it's common to hear the distant sound of an accordion or an alphorn echoing through the valleys. Alpine music, with its ancestral purity, seems crafted to converse with the wind, a dialogue that travels across generations. At the table, flavors tell stories. The cheese, made on farms scattered along the slopes, reaches homes still carrying the scent of the high pastures. Steaming fondues gather families and travelers around long conversations, while raclette melts slowly over hot potatoes, softening time itself. Each dish is a synthesis of Alpine life, simple, robust, deeply connected to the land. Festivals are moments of communion. In summer, there are parades with traditional costumes, hats adorned with flowers, and cowbells that ring in celebration. In winter, the arrival of snow ushers in rituals that mix sport and devotion, races, illuminated processions, and festivities that warm the frozen nights. In every gesture, from farming to music, from cooking to celebration, Wengen's culture lives, resilient and welcoming, a heritage that doesn't flaunt itself, but is shared.
For a child, Wengen is almost a secret kingdom suspended between skies and forests. Days begin with light steps along the paths that lead to school, where birdsong accompanies the way. With no cars, the streets become extensions of the backyard, places where running is safe, where every corner holds the promise of a new game, where the mountain is a kind of silent teacher. Play shifts with the seasons. In summer, little explorers roam flowered fields, cataloging insects, picking blossoms, and listening to grandparents' stories about winters long past. In the late afternoons, it's common to see them perched on wooden fences, watching the sun fall into the valley as if witnessing the opening of a magical book. In winter, the scene transforms. Snow creates natural parks where they can slide, build, and imagine entire worlds. Children learn to ski early, not as a luxury sport, but as a natural extension of life. They grow up with the sense that the horizon is always within reach, and that nature is not an obstacle, but a companion. In Wengen, childhood is slow, clear, and profound, a time of discoveries that echoes forever in the memory of those who once grew up touching the clouds.
Walking in Wengen isn't just moving the body, it's entering a silent pact with the mountain. The trails begin discreetly, often behind a chalet or beside an old barn, and soon open into paths that feel written by nature itself. Each step reveals a shift in temperature, in light, in scent. The aroma of pine, the damp coolness of shade, the gentle touch of the wind descending from the ridges. Residents know these routes the way one knows the lines of their own hand. For them, walking is meditation in motion, listening to one's thoughts dissolved into the distant echo of waterfalls, the rustle of treetops, the almost shy song of alpine birds. Some trails lead to secret viewpoints, others skirt cliffs, others wind through pastures where cows graze with a calm that seems contagious. And curiously, the more you walk, the greater the silence becomes, not as absence, but as a full presence. In this silence, many visitors discover a simple philosophy. The mountain teaches you to slow down, to accept effort, to observe with gratitude. Each trail is an invitation to look inward while moving outward.
When winter arrives in Wengen, it doesn't merely cover the village, it reinvents it. The first snowfall descends quietly, as if afraid to interrupt the house's sleep. Little by little, it turns rooftops into white shelves, softens the slopes, and creates a cold shimmer that dances in the morning light. The air becomes drier, purer, almost crystalline. Each breath feels like it cleans the body from within. The village's rhythm shifts. Church bells echo farther. Footsteps become a muted whisper, and children's laughter as they slide on sleds spreads through the sharp air. Skiing stops being a tourist activity and becomes a daily language. Locals cross the slopes as if moving through familiar hallways, and visitors often discover for the first time the pleasure of feeling the world glide beneath their feet. The nights take on a different texture. Lit fireplaces brighten chalet windows, where families gather in comfortable silence. Outside, the village seems to breathe an ancient calm, guarded by the snow like a secret. In winter, Wengen is almost another village, or perhaps the same one, revealed in its most intimate and essential form.
There are places we don't visit only with our feet, but with what we carry inside. Wengen is one of those rare points on the map where time slows down and, in some mysterious way, gives us back to ourselves. Here, between the murmur of clouds and the firmness of the mountains, we learn something simple and profound. Life breathes better when we leave room for silence. Altitude doesn't weigh, it eases. Every glance toward the valley widens the inner horizon as well. Every slow step along the car-free streets reminds us that the world can be gentler, more attentive, more human. And when the wind slips through the chalets, bringing with it an awakening chill, we realize there is a kind of natural wisdom in living less hurriedly. When you leave, Wengen doesn't say goodbye. It stays imprinted. It lingers in the simplest gesture, the desire to walk slowly, to observe carefully, to be grateful for the landscape life offers us each day, even far from the Alps. If this video touched you in any way, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share it so more people can discover this village suspended between sky and earth. And when you can, come feel Wengen's silence with your own senses.